All right, hey guys, welcome back to Crypto. It is March 24th 2023. In today's content we'll talk about BTC on the macro level in terms of wave analysis and all that good stuff, and what type of price action we could be anticipating over the next like a few weeks, month, right, and all that good stuff, right? So let me know if the sound is good. Give me a 589 if the sound is good. Yeah, I think everything good, right? So let's dive into the analysis regarding the wave analysis before we talk about other type of analysis, right, and all that good stuff. So when we take a look at BTC on the macro level, right, starting on a weekly basis, we discuss our 5 wave structure to the downside, not in terms of 5 waves in numbers, right, but 5 waves in letters. Because it matters a lot when you say like when you count 5 waves in W, X, Y, X, Z, or if you count 5 wave in terms of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So since like I counted it as W, X, Y correction, it simply means the entire move bears created right here was nothing but a correction. Okay, so the move we had right here to the upside started like since 2018 was also a 5-way structure, right? But the difference was like this move, right, was an impulsive macro move, right? You can see like every single wave to the upside, right? The wave 1, wave 3, and wave 5, all of them were impulsive. Okay, and if you take a look at these moves to the downside, yes, you got your W was impulsive, but overall the entire move was like pretty corrective, unlike what we had right here, pretty smooth from like a low 3K all the way up to a 69K. And this one right here was a correction also. Okay, even though it is part of the macro impulsive move, right, it was a correction. And we talk about it in terms of like a wave analysis. Back then what we said was like it is a W, right, X and Y correction. Okay, so we had a W, X, Y correction for our wave 2, but right here we're getting a W, X, Y, X, Z in terms of 5-way structure, because it is correcting based on the entire move from like a 3K up to 69K. So it makes sense, the entire move, right, corrects down like to a 50% or even 0.618, but we did not retrace down to a 0.618, right? So if you take a look at it in terms of Fibonacci, if you do a swing low 3100, right, all the way up to 60 right there. Let's just take the this one right here from the March crash, right? 50% pullback was exactly at 16.2, just in terms of like a wave analysis, just in terms of like a Fibonacci, regardless of the wave analysis, right? And we discussed it back in Q2 2022, right, even before we retested that 50% pullback and all that good stuff, right? So after identifying like these waves, right, one thing we can conclude is like the probability right now of the W, X, Y, X, Z correction, right, being over, right, it is pretty high. Okay, it is pretty high. So it means like bulls right now, the move we're creating right now to the upside, right, it could be the first macro wave, right, of the next bull market. Okay, we just don't know how high exactly this wave can go. It can go to 40, 40, 50 and all that good stuff, but I don't think it will break all-time high without correcting again 30%, 50% or even 60%, right? But we will take a look at it step by step as we go. Okay, so another thing also to look for when you're trying to identify these waves, if these waves are over or not, right, meaning like if your 5 wave to the downside is over, or if your 5 wave pump is over, right, the best way I like to look at it is like a divergence. Okay, if I find any divergence or divergences, right, between your wave 3 and wave 5, you got to be cautious after that. Okay, so, and I said it after we printed the divergence right here. If we take a look at it on in terms of MACD, bulls created a nice bullish divergence, and some of these bears that they are still pretty busy looking for like some hidden bullish or hidden bearish divergences. Okay, basically, you know, saying like this move, it is a fake out. Yes, it could be a fake out, but who doesn't want to see a fake out from like a 20k to 30k? Okay, so it is a nice fake out, even if it is a fake out. Okay, but you got a, you know, pretty much a nice bullish divergence right here, so you couldn't ignore it. And at the top, we discussed it back in December 2021, it was a big weekly divergence. So whenever you get a divergence between your wave 3 and 5 or your wave Y or Z, right, you got to be cautious. If you're bullish, you got to start to flip bearish. If you're bearish, you got to start to flip bullish, right, until basically what you're looking for is invalidated. But you don't want to be bearish like after you know, macro bearish after you get a macro bull divergence, because these reversal can, you know, can take anywhere between like 3 to 6 months. So if you bearish right here and BTC pumps like, you know, for like a 5 to 6 months, you're going to be missing opportunities, right? Meaning like you're going to be waiting for the, you know, for the price action to tap out before you get another chance to you know, to re-enter, right, for the next wave, right? Yes, you could miss out, right, on the pump, but if you acknowledge like, hey, this is just a short-term reversal, you can still be bearish at the top. But you don't want to be bearish right here all along, right? All along the way you bearish, and as soon as we hit like a 40k, 50k, you start to flip bullish and saying like we're going to all-time high. And most bulls most likely going to be flipping bearish as soon as we hit like a 0.618. Okay, it could go all the way up to a, you know, 0.786, but that's going to be a different topic. We're just going to take it step by step and you know, try to take out the 382, 50%, 0.618, and after that we will talk about the you know, mid 40s to you know, low 50s and all that good stuff, right? Especially on a quarterly basis, right? I will basically update you guys regarding the quarterly time frame. It is super you know, it is super bullish, right? The quarterly time frame, that's our first quarterly bullish candle right here. And I'll talk about it right here back in Q4 2021. Okay, when we flip bearish like you know, late November, early December 2021, we talk about the quarterly cycle and the quarterly 21 EMA. So it is about time to start like focusing on the quarterly cycle once again, okay, especially in Q2 going into Q3, right, and all that good stuff. Okay, so now we know what to look for in terms of reversal. We got our divergence, right, just like what we had right here. We did not ignore it, we acknowledged it. Okay, said, okay guys, let's just let's not try to force it. Yes, we could go to 100k, but we got a bearish divergence right here. Weekly is negative, price action is below the 3-day 21 EMA, weekly divergence, so no need to be forcing it, right? So right now, if we take a look at it in terms of a reversal, BTC is above the weekly 21 EMA, above the weekly 50, that's a blue line right here, now above the weekly 100 EMA. And if we go back in Q1 2022, right, that was our target right here. If you guys recall, when we shorted around like a 51, 52, we were looking for the weekly 100 EMA / monthly 21 EMA, right? Back then the monthly 21 EMA was right around like a 34, 35k area. So we knew if we break down below the weekly 21, we're going down straight to the monthly 21. Same thing right here, we break out above the weekly 21, shoot up to the monthly 21. Okay, so now you know, we could be breaking above the monthly 100 EMA, and if we do, we just don't have I just don't have another moving average, right? I could be following the monthly 20. The monthly 20 is right around like a 20, not 20 Leroy, but 33K. Let's check it, right? Take a look at it right here. The monthly 20 SMA, right? Right there, it is right around like a 33.8, right? 33.8, which is just about like a, you know, just about a 50% pullback. So we got a good confluence region, right? Regarding these moving averages, right? So now let's go back to the wave analysis, right? So if we take a look at it, right, we already identify our reversal right here, okay, with, you know, let's say 80 to 85% probability, right? 15K is the bottom, right? You know, we still got a small chance of 15K not being the bottom because we cannot be 100% sure, right? But as of now, 80% to 85% probability, 15K, 16K area was the bottom, okay? So now what are we looking for in terms of wave? Okay, so what I'm looking at right now is like this wave we just got. This could have been our wave 1, right? And this could have been our wave 2, and we could be looking for our wave 3 to the upside. Okay, so most of the time what we tend to say, or what I tend to say, and other analysis or other, you know, analysts also like to use it, is like your wave 3 okay, let's just do it like that for Leroy. Okay, so okay, so for your wave 3, we already said this could be our wave 2 right here, wave 1 actually, right? And the move we had down here was our wave 2. I just got to write it properly for Leroy. All right, guys. So that's our wave 2. So now what are we looking for, Leroy? We're looking for wave 3 to the upside, right? So if we take our extension tool right there, we do a swing low, right? We do a swing low, take our extension tool, swing low, up to swing high, just about a, let's say 25K, right? Give or take. And swing low again down to 19.5, give or take. 1.618 extension, going to be all the way up to the mid 40s. Okay, depending on which exchange you're using, okay? But let's say the low 40s to mid 40s. Right there. That's going to be our 1.618 extension to the upside, and after that we will basically focus on what wave 4 to the downside after that, okay? Because you just don't know, as I've been saying, you know, you just want to focus on the direction and not on the shape, because we don't know what type of correction we're going to get after that once we hit our, you know, 1.618 extension for the wave 3. Okay, for the wave 3. So we're going to be looking for 1.618 extension, right? That's going to take us somewhere around like, you know, the low 40s to mid 40s, give or take, okay, depending on volatility. Okay, so that's going to be our wave 3 right there. So that's what we're going to be looking for, right, for the bulls, right? If you're a bear, we'll discuss the bearish scenario with 50% probability, okay? But we will discuss the bearish scenario, right? So hopefully it makes sense. So now let's take a look at BTC, right? In terms of the bearish scenario, okay? So as I just said, right, we got a 5-way structure to the downside, W, X, Y, X, Z, okay? However, we're not 100% sure, right? This is the 5-way structure, because the move right here could be an expanded flat also, okay? And we could get our wave number 5 to the downside right here. So that would give us a move like that, 1, 2, 3, with a double correction right here and a wave 5. It is a valid pattern. However, the indicators right now, they're not in favor of this pattern. You see what I'm saying? So just because you know something something has a likelihood of playing out doesn't mean it will play out. So you have to follow your indicators. So what does it mean? It means that we got to get some sort of divergences, right? Also some sort of like a MACD. Let's take a look at it. MACD crossing negative. If the weekly MACD doesn't cross negative, right, the probability of this move playing out might not be very high. That's why I'm only giving it like 15% probability for the double top, double bottom to play out. And if you recall, when BTC was right around, 16K, 17K, 18K, I was saying like, guys, we're not sure, okay, if we're going to break below the 16K area extensively, the monthly 100 EMA, because we already got a divergence, and we know we got a good probability of retesting our monthly 21 EMA in Q1 or Q2 2023. So there is no need to be risking, a small percentage move, right, down to 13K, 14K, when you know the move to the upside could give you like a 20,000 point move or even higher, right? So most bears were looking for like a 5K, 3K, but after a 77% drop on BTC, you gotta let bulls, you gotta give bulls some room to breathe, and not try to be too bearish. So if we go back to the bearish scenario, that's the only bearish possibility I can find right now, right? Because BTC likes to create this pattern, so I cannot ignore it. We did have one right here back in 2020, right? Remember this one? We caught it, the double top at 10K. We said we're going down to 4K to 5K. Why? Because we were looking for 0.618. If we do a swing low to swing high, we were looking for this move, right? And we dropped all the way down to 0.786, down to 0.888, right? But as of now, right, there is nothing, right? There is nothing. Things could change tomorrow. Things could change next week, next month. But as of today, March 24th, right, 2023, we got to get, our MACD on a weekly basis or on a 3D basis starting to give us, right, some bearishness. And we're going to be like, okay, let's give it like now, possibly 40-50% probability of dropping lower to retest the lows. And most of the time, these moves, your fifth wave, most of the time, right, if we get this flat correction, it is going to be pretty impulsive. So it's not going to last like 6 to 9 months. It could last like for 2 to 3 weeks, or like a maximum a month. But we're not going to get another downtrend like 365 days downtrend on our wave 5. Okay, our wave 1 right here took like what, 2 months, right? We picked in November, actually October, right? Let's say we picked in October. We got November, December, January, 3 months. But I don't think if we're going to get this move, it's going to take 3 months. Okay, it could take like half of that, or not even half of that, probably 2 to 4 weeks max. Just like the COVID crash right here, only took like few weeks, 4 or 5 weeks. That's it. Okay, and that way we could still count it as a 5-way structure, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. With a W, X, Y, X, Z. Okay. Right. So if you're bearish, you're on your own. Okay. You can still wait for it. But as of now, just have to pay attention to the to the MACD flipping negative. So even if you go ahead and take a look at the MACD right here, whenever we flip negative at the top right there, we got the dump. Okay. Flip negative right here again, we got this dump. Flip negative again right here, we got this dump. So if we flip negative again, You could join the party, join the bears, but the thing is, you don't know when we're going to flip bearish. That's the thing, right? That's the thing. You just don't know when we're going to flip bearish. You could flip bearish like in May, June, July. You just don't know. Okay, if you're a bear. Hopefully that's fair enough. But I'm not following this analysis. Okay, just to for full disclosure, I'm not following this analysis. I just have it there just in case, so I won't hesitate to flip bearish if I see something like that. Okay, so hey guys, give it a like if you find the content useful and all that good stuff. All right, so we got Will in the house, thanks a lot for tuning in. We got Corey in the house, thanks a lot, man. David HO, Mr. 99X, thanks a lot for tuning in, man. Now David, now you're becoming the master, man. Daniel saying like 589 incoming. We'll see. XRP, I don't know about 589, right? But we'll see. Let's take out 350 first, and then try to get to $7, $10, $15, $18, and all that good stuff, and we will talk about 589. All right, so hopefully it makes sense, right? So now let's try to take a look at BTC on the quarterly cycle, right? I already updated my premium group regarding the quarterly cycle and what we're looking for and everything, right? And the quarterly cycle, it is very, very important, guys, to pay attention to every single quarter. Sometimes you might not get enough data to make like a definite analysis, like a great analysis, but always at the end of the quarter, pay attention to it. Okay, so what I'm looking at right now is like, just like I said after Q2 in my premium, I said exactly, we're not going up again. It could take us like a 3 to 5 quarters, right, before we take out our Q2 bearishness right here, Q2 2022. Okay, so that's why when we drop down to 20K, I was telling my premium group also, like, it could take a very, very long time, right, before we get another capitulation like that. So that's why I never expected BTC to retest like 10K. And I was only looking for the monthly 100 EMA and monthly 100 SMA, right? So you can see like that this quarter right here was down like 56%. If you see BTC down like 56% in one quarter, you got to be, you got to basically stop, or like, stop being extremely bearish, basically, okay? Because you're not going to get another 56% the very next quarter, right? You see what I'm saying? Whenever you can see right here, we only dropped 50% in this quarter. We moved sideways for 2 quarters. Right here, back in 2018, October, November, December, we dropped 50%. You can see what happened. We reversed. Okay, so 50% drop in any quarter for BTC, you just cannot be bearish. Yes, it is going to be boring because, it could be boring because the next few quarters could be moving sideways and all that good stuff, but you just don't want to be greedy and looking for another 50%. And I said it back in July after we dump right here. Right, so what are we looking for right now? Okay, on the quarterly basis, for bulls, you don't want to be too bullish above 40, above like mid 40s. Why mid 40s? Because you can see this bearishness right here, right? The 56% drop started just about like a 45, 46K area, give or take, right? The high was right around like a 47, right? Just about like a 47, 48. That's the highest, right? You want to basically be, bullish on, right? Regarding BTC, right? Next quarter. Right? It might not shoot up like straight up to a 48, 40, 45 to a 48K area if the volatility slows down and we get a very boring quarter, meaning like price action just be in a 10% range for like a 3 month. That's possible also. So you got to keep that in mind, right? Just in case we get a low volatility quarterly cycle. But if we get a high volatility quarterly cycle, before end of June, right? You know, if we hit anywhere around like a 40 to a 45k, you got to slow down on the bullishness, right? So we'll see how it goes. Okay, on the downside, anything at or close to like a 17k, just about the monthly, just about the quarterly open, right? It is going to be a good buy, right? But as I said on the weekly basis, right? As I said on the weekly, we got to get the weekly MACD negative, right? Before even we start to talk about like 16k, 17k, or price action breaking below the weekly 21. Because the quarterly is extremely bullish. It is up like 66%. And I said it, back in November, back in January, after we got that 20%, 30% pump, some people were saying like, oh, that's the same thing we had back in October 2019. We're going to dump again. No, okay? Because this one we got it like in January. And most of the time BTC trend, right, shifts in January. You can go back and back test it. January, right, it is a shift in momentum most of the time. January, May, right? January, basically, right? May, June. Right? September, you get a dump, but sometimes you don't get a shift in momentum, right? But January and May, those 2 months, right? You always got to be cautious, right? Even if you did not trade, even if you did not trade BTC till basically 2017, even in May 2018, right? We got that big dump like May 7th, May 10th. BTC picked around like a $9,900, right? And then it dumped all the way down to 6K and all that good stuff after that. So hopefully it makes sense, okay? So I think that is it. I'm just gonna keep it short today. I'm not gonna go for a 2 hours live stream. I'm just gonna keep it short, under 30 minutes. Let's see. So we talked about everything. So in terms of fibs, 31, 33k area, 32k area. If you want to follow your monthly 100 SMA, not 100 SMA, your 100 SMA be right here, Leroy, right around like a 13.5. So you don't want to follow your monthly 100 SMA as of now, okay? But if you want to follow your monthly 20 SMA, it is right around like a 33.8. So if you're shorting at 32k, be cautious, right? Because if BTC wants to follow the monthly 100, not monthly 100, monthly 20 SMA, it could shoot up to like a 33.8. And we do have a gap at 35k, so you still have to incorporate that into your analysis, right? And all that good stuff. And the monthly 20 SMA, that's where we got our support right here also, right? In 2019, that's where we got not the 40% pump, but the December 2019 bottom around like a 6,500, and we pump back up to 10k. You go back right here in 2018 September, we were hugging it right here, right? So we'll see how it goes, okay? And for our mini bull run in 2019 right there, right? We picked after the 21 EMA, that yellow line crossed above the monthly 20 SMA. That's when we pick. So we don't know if we're going to be picking again after our 21 EMA, right? The weekly 21 EMA crosses above the monthly 20 SMA, right? So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes, okay? So let me take a look at the chat room really quickly. If you have any question regarding BTC, David, I know 99.5x actually. Pablo S. Crypto is saying, hey son, the monthly MACD is very, very far to cross positive, right? It will take time for sure. So he's saying like we're going to get a big correction to the downside. So basically, what this guy is saying, Pablo S Crypto, is saying like our monthly MACD is too far from crossing positive. Yes, and as I told you back in January, I said don't follow the monthly MACD as of now. Okay, it's gonna basically confuse you. Just follow the weekly, the 3D, and as we go up, right, follow your 2 weeks, probably it's up. Follow your 10D, right, it's up. Follow your 3 weeks, it's up. Okay, the 3 weeks 21 EMA, right, is right around like a 25.5. You're already above it. That's a good sign, right? Back in 2019, after we broke out above it, you can see what happened. May, we started pumping right there. Okay, so right now we're about to close above it in 3 days. So if we close above the 3 weeks 21 EMA, this sucker could be pumping all the way up to our next quarterly resistance, right? Not in terms of like a Fibonacci and all that good stuff, but the quarterly resistance at 40 mid 40s, right? Because this guy is positive and we above our 21 EMA, right? So by the time the the monthly time frame going to cross positive, right, we could already pick. We could already see our next pick, just like what happened in 2019. Okay, if we go back to 2015, I followed the monthly like a hawk. So in 2015, the good news is like in 2015, after we crossed positive, right, we started a consolidation, like a 6-month consolidation, from November to like a April, 5-month consolidation above the 21 EMA. Right, so you might be bullish after the crossover, but either we're going to get a dump or a consolidation, but we don't know which one we're going to get. That's a big problem. Okay, so don't assume, don't assume any dump yet. Have to follow your weekly time frame, your 3D time frame first. Right, follow those two first, okay, because they're going to give you some valid information, like a 3D MACD. Price action below the 3D 21, a weekly MACD negative crossover. Those type of information, right, can lead you, to some good, good analysis. Can give you some good analysis, and you could be looking for some dump and all that good stuff. But as of now, I wouldn't focus too much on this guy. Just wait to see how the wave analysis is going to develop over the next over the next 6 to 8 weeks, going into May, June and all that good stuff. Right? Because even if we cross positive, we could be moving sideways, just like what happened right here. We cross positive, right, in June after we pick. You go back to 2015, right? We cross positive right there, November, right? As I just said, right? And we did not break out till April. Actually May, we broke out in May. So we got 1, 2, actually 6 months, right? So Leroy, don't need to count it, right? May to June, right? May to May, November to May, right? So so that's all I see on a monthly basis. Other than that, right, you might want to pay attention to your monthly RSI. I do update the monthly RSI for my premium every single month, right? End of the month, the first week of the month, I do update the monthly RSI. And I said that anything below 43 was a good buy for the macro level, not for a short-term trade. Because if you buy at 17, 18, 16K, yes, you could take profit at the monthly 21 and at 40K, 50K and wait for a retest and all that good stuff. But you're not buying at 16K, 17K just to sell at 18K, right? And all that good stuff. So the monthly RSI, right? Yeah, we want to get above 55. So we're not yet in a bull run until we get above the until we get above 55 monthly RSI. and we could see some consolidation right here. So this consolidation could be our next 5 to 6 month consolidation. Okay, just like what happened right here between this, just about what happened right here in this range in 2019, 2020, 2019, and then we crashed down. Right here, we consolidated, but at the same time, even though price action was not going up, right, the RSI was going up. That was right here. That was this move right there. Okay, price was just consolidating, but RSI was still looking very, very strong. Okay, so BTC above the monthly 21, it is a good buy, right? If you're looking for the next macro pick, right, up to like 180 to 200k and all that good stuff, but there is a risk associated with it, okay? Because it could either move sideways or even dump back down to retest the lows, within the next like a 6 to 9 months. That's the only downside risk I can see as of now. Okay, March 2023. Shawnee in the house, thanks a lot for tuning in. Talk about that 180 top. That 180 top, I used to do like a BTC 180 analysis every month, but I will go back to it, okay? So the 180 top is nothing but a nothing but an extension of our first wave. If we do an extension of our first wave right there, from like a let's say a penny down to 32, no, Leroy, you don't want to look for that. $1.41. Okay, so that 180, it is nothing but our extension of it is just the extension, right? 1.41 extension to the upside. Okay, so if you take the wave 1, right, since back in 2020 right there, right, up to the wave 2, and you take this wave to the downside, right, at $2, you can see like BTC been respecting these fibs, okay, 0.786, 1-to-1 extension, and this one right here, right, and the next fib to the to the upside going to be the 1.41 extension. Okay, the one we picked at was the 1.27, right, somewhere around like 50 to 60k, right, and the next one going to be 1.41 extension, somewhere around like 160 to 180. Right, if we get some noise, we could even pump all the way up to 300k, which is going to be the 1.5 extension, okay? But I don't see us going anywhere around like 800, 800,000, which is going to be 1.618 extension. It could require like another macro consolidation before we start to talk about like 500 to 800k. Okay, so it is pretty simple, right? Just one thing you have to do basically, right? Do a swing low to swing high, down to swing low using your extension tool, and you just follow these fibs. Okay, you're not looking for like exact numbers, but you're just looking for a range. And 1.41 extension going to be at 168, right? Could go all the way up to 180 or even 300k. right? If we get our grandmas, right, starting to buy right here in this box, but you don't want to FOMO above 180 basically, right? Because that's what I was saying at 18K to start buying, because we're not going to get a 20x pump in our next bull market. I'm expecting most like a 10x, okay, 10 to 11x, right? So if you know, you could get 11x too, right? If our bottom was like if our bottom was like a 16K, you know, you could be looking for like a 10x move, right? 180. It's actually 11x, but 1000% move, you're looking for like a 1000 to a 1100% move, you're looking for like 180 to 200K. And we talk about it like even before we bottom right there. Okay, that's why I was saying, like, you know, 16K to a 18K range, it is still a good buy, because the next macro move going to be up to like a 160 to a 180. Unless grandma starts to buy around like 180, and they could pump it like a if our grandma start to buy at, you know, 180, they could pump it like a, you know, up to 300K. Right, hopefully it makes sense. Does it make sense? Yeah, it makes sense. All right. Let's do this. J Boss, thanks a lot for tuning in, man. Pablo is crypto is saying like there's a good probability to make a macro double bottom on the monthly. Yes, there's always a probability for something to happen, but just have to follow your indicators on the weekly. The weekly MACD hasn't crossed negative, so no need to be wasting time looking for bearishness. Okay, no need to be looking for, because we had 12 months to be bearish, guys. That's what you need to think about. The entire move, like since like November, late November 2021, all the way down to 16K. If you've been following our group, we were bearish. And back in November, first week of November, second week of November, I was like 18 months before the halving. You cannot be bearish if you've been following BTC over the last few years. 18 months before the halving, okay? If before the halving, the next halving going to be in May 2024, right? So from November 2022, to May 2024, that's 18 months. But if you don't play the macro, you wouldn't care about like that 18-month gap. I said it a long time ago, even before we hit like the lows in November. I was saying it in September and all that good stuff. If we hit anywhere around here below the, regardless of the BTC price, 18 months before the halving, you got to suck it up. Right? You got to suck it up, especially 50% pullback below the monthly 21 EMA. These are very easy analysis, right, to follow. You don't need no indicator. You just do time analysis. Okay, monthly 21. Monthly 50, monthly 100 EMA. That's it. You don't need no Bollinger Band. You don't need no clouds. You don't need no MACD, no RSI, none of that. You don't need none of that. You could just keep it very, very simple. All right, guys, I'm just going to call it a day. It's already like 40 minutes, right? And all that good stuff. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching. J Boss is asking for XLM. Let's take a look at XLM. Yeah, XLM, it is still in a downtrend wedge pattern right here. Resistance up to the monthly 21, right? You got your support at 7 cents. If we come down, you got 5 cents right here, right? But it tried to break out above the February highs. So if it holds the 88 to 94, if BTC remains bullish, right, and alt get a short-term pump before before the summer, it could go back to the August highs around like a 13-14 cents. Algo, it is still hanging around 21 to 19, right? Next resistance around like a 43. Just have to hold the 21 to 19 cents. If not, it could be going back down to the COVID lows right, around like the 10 cents, right? So Algo BTC has not been performing well, so you just have to be very, very cautious, because if you keep on following Algo USD, you might be missing out a lot, you know, with the BTC pump. For now, just, you know, if I were you, I would be following BTC, right? Yeah, it's 97% down against BTC, okay, since its inception, right there, June 2019, 97%. So we just have to be very cautious with alt, you know, while BTC is below all-time high. Okay, if you basically following these alt like on the macro, you just have to wait till BTC breaks all-time high, or you know, after the BTC halving, okay, they're going to pump. Even in the last bull run, Algo did not even do well. Okay, it did not do well. Yes, it reversed, but it never gone back up like to a all-time high against BTC, right? So all right guys, thanks a lot for watching.